It is Sunday, and it is 3:33 p.m. So we already know what that means. I always like to see who gets here early. Shinzi always gets here early. Lindsay is early, I'm sure. Lindsay, where are you? I don't see or hear you. Welcome, everyone. Eve, it's your first time here. Well, welcome. This is our regular Sunday thing. I already knew you were in here somewhere, Lindsay. I already knew it. But Eve, this is our regular Sunday thing. We do this every Sunday at 3:33 p.m. These are called Sunday Serving Food for Thought. And the theme, Christine, welcome. I see you, Christine. The theme that we've been following, Layla, welcome. Another first timer. Latino Success Marketing, welcome. Shell, welcome. The theme that we've been following over the last 7 weeks has been the Shadow Work Journal. And we've really just been exploring the journal, discussing the exercises in the journal, and I've been giving some additional guidance on how to actually do shadow work and just guidance on your healing journey. And collectively, we are here to be a support system to one another, to really encourage one another on this journey, as we know that embarking on a journey of self-help and embarking on a journey of healing, embarking on a journey of being the best version of yourself that you can be challenging. So we've come together as a community to be that support system for one another. We've come together as a community to really just show that, for those that are new on this journey of self-help, that you're not alone, that you're not by yourself. And we're all here together. Libations, how are you, sister? Yeah, welcome all the first timers. Hang out. You're going to find this very impactful today. I'm going to be very to the point today. The theme of today is the response is better, or let me phrase it this way. The response is stronger than the initial action. So yeah, everybody that is a subscriber that's here, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate your ongoing support. One of the things that I realized this week is just as much as you all are committed to be here, and I know some of you make sacrifices to be here on Sundays, I make similar sacrifices to be here as well, right? We all have that commitment and that mutual agreement to one another. If you don't know, so over the last 6 weeks or 7 weeks, we've covered all of the fill in the blank activities in the Shadow Work Journal. We've completed the wound mapping section of the Shadow Work Journal, which is really the introduction into shadow work and really understanding where your wounds are, really understanding the parts of yourself that you've suppressed, the parts of yourself that you've hidden, the parts of yourself that you've hidden from, the parts of yourself that you may be ashamed of, the parts of yourself that you've stuck deep down in your subconscious mind. So the very first part of the journal is really understanding and exploring that. And then the next part of the journal is really just touching on different aspects that trigger those parts of you that you've hidden. So we've made it to the part of the journal now where there's just several activities that you're supposed to go through, and we're going to bounce around in the journal and cover some of those activities. But to all of you that have already ordered your journal, when you have your journal, thank you if you've ordered it through the link on my page. Thank you if you didn't. Just the fact that you have the journal and you're focused on your own self-help and actually becoming the best version of yourself that you can be is something that is worth being thanked for, and is something that you should be very proud of. And those of you, Kim, how are you? For those of you that have not ordered a copy of the journal and you would like to join our community on this healing journey, go to any one of the previous videos on my page. You'll see the link there to order the journal. And if you can't get the journal and you just want to tag along today, that's perfectly okay. I'm going to do some housekeeping. We're going to go into our breathing activity, and then we're going to jump into some different parts here in the journal that I really want to cover today that I feel like are going to be impactful under the theme of your reaction is stronger than the initial action. And basically what I'm going to be driving today is the idea that no matter what has happened to you, the way that you react is going to have a longer and deeper and stronger impact on your life than the initial action. And we're going to talk about some different attributes and how our triggers show up. And then I'm just going to go into some depth of those different conversations. And then hopefully we're all blessed and we can all learn something, and then we can move on. I'm going to try to cover today to stay within an hour. So let's get into the housekeeping so we can get into our conversation. Yes, live, same time, every Sunday, 3:33 p.m. Eastern time, every Sunday. All right, so I told you all a few of these things last week. I am super excited about everything that's been happening through the work that I've been doing on here. One of the things that is new that I would like to share with you all, I have finally and officially opened my calendar to some coaching, to some one-on-one shadow work mentorship, to some life coaching and some healing coaching. If you're interested in that, you can go straight to my website, www.girldadllc.com, and you can actually book a 15-minute Zoom call introduction session with me. After that introduction call, you'll have the opportunity to actually book a one-off one-on-one session with me, or you can lock in a 4-week session with me on one-on-one coaching, shadow work, mentorship, or life coaching in general. That's something that many of you have been really in my inbox telling me to make available to you. I know a lot of you have been really looking for that and asking for that. And I've been a little bit hesitant because of all the other things that I have going on with my schedule. But I found a way to make it happen. So that's available to you. If you just want to email me directly, it's girldadsos@gmail.com. Again, that's girldadsos@gmail.com. And I will send you the link for the first 15-minute introduction call. Jessica, how are you, sis? And then after that, again, you'll have the opportunity to book your session. So that's the first piece of housekeeping I wanted to cover. The second thing is we actually have an official start date for the podcast, I Am Healing with Coach K. That is going to be on October the 11th. And when I tell you all, the guest that we're going to be starting the podcast with, I am inspired by this gentleman every single day. I have yet to meet someone that have faced the challenges that this gentleman has faced and that have been able to accomplish the things that he's been able to accomplish. Not only has he been a complete and utter inspiration to me, but I know his story is going to light a fire under so many of you. And I'm so excited to interview this gentleman. I'm so excited to bring him to you all. So October the 11th, we're going to be launching the I Am Healing with Coach K podcast on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube, go there now or right after this live. It is youtube.com/@girl_dad. All of this information can be found in my bio here on TikTok. So if you're just listening and not writing any of this down, that's fine. Once this live is over, you can go straight to my bio here on TikTok and get that information. With that said, now we're going to get into why we're actually here. As you all know, before we start our activities for the day, something that I always advise that you do before and after your shadow work is some type of grounding activity. I prefer to do a breathing activity that I learned practicing Tai Chi. It is an activity that has always helped me in any situation that I'm in. It helps me to center myself. It helps me to ground myself, and it helps me to calm and be present in the moment. If you've been here before, you know this spiel. Forgive me. I know you've heard it for the last 7 to 8 Sundays, but we do have some new people here, and I like to make sure that they're actually doing our breathing exercises correctly. So if you're doing this exercise correctly, the way that you're going to know that you're intaking the air correctly, your stomach should inflate before your chest rises. So you want to pull in air all the way down to the pit of your stomach. And mentally, you want to visualize the air being pulled into the pit of your stomach. And then once that air is there, you want to slowly exhale by pulling your stomach in. And then it's going to push the air all the way out. All right. So again, if you're new to this, this is our grounding activity that we do before we jump into the journal or any activity that we're going to do. Chubby, I'm glad you finally caught one. I'm so excited that you caught one. And if you've missed any of these lives over the last 7 Sundays, again, all of this is uploaded to the YouTube page. You can go there and catch up if you just got your journal. All right. So again, if you're doing this breathing activity correctly, you see how just now when I inhale, and I know I have a white shirt on, so it's kind of hard to see. I may end up changing this depending if you guys are having any issues reading the comments or staying engaged, let me know. But you see how just now when I took in a breath of fresh air, it pulled my chest up first. That's not the correct way to do the exercise that you want to do for grounding. What should happen is your stomach should inflate first, and then your chest should rise after. Right? And then mentally, you want to visualize the air being pulled into the pit of your stomach. And then once you have that air all the way in there, you want to exhale slowly by pulling your stomach in and pushing that air all the way out. Once we're done with our breathing activity, I'm going to jump into the section of the journal that we'll be covering today. And once we've covered that, we'll go over some more housekeeping and then we'll get out of here. Again, I'm going to try to keep this within an hour today, so I'm not going to prolong us anymore. So let's get into our breathing activity. One of the first things that I like to do is check my shoulders. This is kind of how I know when I'm relaxed, is when my shoulders are either relaxed or tense, is how I know where I'm at. So with that said, I could have stayed on that breathing exercise for another 30 to 45 minutes. It's definitely refreshing. It's one that I would recommend you do even if you're not getting ready to do your shadow work. As many of you already know, whenever we do that breathing activity and I come out of it, my entire disposition is different. A lot of the excitement and the jitters that I have starting the live, and a lot of the excitement that I have to see you all kind of fades away, and I'm very much present in the moment. Many of you even say like the tone of my voice changes a little bit. It gets a little bit deeper, a little more relaxed, but I love it. It's one that I recommend that you do multiple times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once in the evening, even if you're not preparing to do shadow work. All right. So today I want to talk about I want to talk about a couple of things. The first thing that I want to talk about, and is one of the prompt activities in the journal, is jealousy. Many people don't see themselves as being jealous, but what we will do is use comparisons. Here's what I mean by that. Oftentimes, we will gauge our progress in our own lives based on a comparison to someone else. And oftentimes, in that comparison comes a bit of disappointment in ourselves. That disappointment that comes out of that comparison, unbeknownst to us, forms a bit of jealousy. Now, a couple of things that I want to say about jealousy. Jealousy is one of those emotions that lives in your head, in your thoughts, in your words, and then ultimately it comes out in your actions. Now, the prompt activity in the journal says, who are you jealous of? What desires lie behind your jealousy? And how often do you feel jealousy? And again, many people don't consider themselves jealous, but we play the comparison game. I think we're back. All right, I think we're back. All right, we're back. So again, many people we sometimes play the comparison game, not realizing that game of comparison, it's the phone jumped off the Wi-Fi network and jumped on the network to the car, and it's a whole thing. But we'll play the comparison game, not realizing that comparison game is unhealthy. I'm not going to spend too much time on jealousy. I'm just going to make this point about jealousy. And I'm going to extend it from just jealousy to those who believe that they are at odds with us. Whenever you're playing a game of comparison with someone else's life or someone else's progress in comparison to yours, you are hindering, there it is. You're hindering your own unique path, and you're also creating hindrances in your own mind. And here's why that's important to understand. You and I can have the same destination, right? We can have the exact same destination as to where we want to go. Most of us only focus, this is good. Most of us only focus on the destination. Imagine this. Let's say, for instance, you and I are climbing, I won't say Mount Everest, but let's say we're mountain climbing, right? And we're trying to get to the peak of this mountain. We both are on the same trajectory to get to the peak of this mountain. Here's the problem with when you play the comparison game with other people. What I need, or what I am going to need to accomplish my mission at the top of the mountain, may require me to take a route that is different from yours. What I need to accomplish my mission at the top of the mountain may require me to take a path that is different from yours. Let me put this in the perspective of just our lives. Many of us have a destiny, right? And that destiny isn't necessarily predetermined. But you have a destiny in your mind of where you want to go, where you see yourself, where you want to end up in your life. The problem is you're unwilling to understand that every experience on the way to where you're trying to go is necessary for that destination. So let me give you a great example of what I'm trying to say. In my life, the only reason I'm able to sit here now with the ability to speak the way that I'm able to speak and speak from the spaces that I'm able to speak from and relate to so many people is because of all of the hardships that I had to endure. The hardship wasn't there for me to get to my destiny, but the hardship equipped me with certain things that I needed so that now that I'm here, I can do what I'm doing today, having been equipped with the tools that are necessary. Someone else that had a path to be a public speaker or someone else that had a path to do this may not have needed the same tools that I needed, may not even have the same audience that I have. So in order for me to have arrived to my destination with the tools that I needed to fulfill whatever it was that I needed to fulfill at my destination, my path had to take me to some places that I may not have wanted to be at the time. But because I had the mindset to understand that as long as I have breath in my body, every experience that I'm having is to equip me for something else, I was able to take from those experiences what was necessary. So now that I am here, I'm more equipped to be here. I'm more equipped to fulfill the mission here than I would have been if I didn't experience the things that I experienced. And Jesus, listen, I appreciate you sharing that, sister. And one of the things that I do on these Sundays is to have a conversation where we can all learn and we can all grow, right? Very rarely do we have trolls in our conversations. Very rarely do we have people that want to spam the comment section. If you want to share something, sister, I absolutely do not mind, right? All of the people in these conversations are free thinking people. None of them have been brainwashed by anyone else. So anything that you want to share, go ahead and do so. All I ask is that you not spam the comment with a continuous comment, right? If you wanted attention or if you wanted me to respond to your comment, I hope this comment suffices. But please don't spam the comment section with one statement over and over and over. All right. So what I want you to understand, for those of us that experience jealousy or those of us that play the game of comparison, whenever you're playing the comparison game, you're defeating yourself. You're complicating your own path. You're creating barriers in your own mind that are not necessary because your path is unique. And here's the thing about your path being unique. Put it like this. I love analogies, as you all know. Here's another analogy that I'll give you. I remember growing up, I had 8 brothers and 3 sisters all living in the same home. G Mama, how are you? That's a great question, Robert. We'll talk about it in just a second. And hopefully these ideas that I'm sharing will give you some substance to understand why you should not be comparing. I grew up in a house with 8 brothers and 3 sisters. Many of my friends growing up didn't have that many siblings. So even though we were lower middle class families, all of us, they had more resources than I had as far as what my parents could do for me because they didn't have as many siblings that their parents had to take care of. But I remember growing up and I would always use that measure of comparison to my friends. I always looked at their lives and everything that they had, and that their parents were able to get them new shoes and their parents were able to buy them clothes for school and all of those things. And I remember I always used to have this bit of jealousy inside of me. right? But what I realize now today, and even as I look back, as I go back to my old neighborhood and I connect with some of my old friends, what I realize now is our paths were different. See, if I would have just stayed in a state of comparison and allowed that sense of comparison to make me feel like, which it did at the time, right? It made me feel like there it is. That's what comparison does. It devalues your unique mission and your unique path in life. Because if my path is unique to me and is different, and actually my path is crafted in such a way for my destination, and you are using my path as the measure to the quality of your life, you are devaluing your own path. You're devaluing your own destination. And if you stay focused on just what you think you don't have because of what I have, then you're going to miss the moments by which your path is equipping you for your destination. Does that make sense? There's nothing that you can gain out of comparing your life to anyone else. There's nothing to be gained from using someone else's life as the measure for your path. And that's why jealousy doesn't serve you. Because here's the thing. Sometimes you're jealous of a person that's in a worse state than you're in, but you're only able to read the exterior. And through your assessment of their exterior, you think that they're in a better space than you are. And because you are devaluing your own position, it knocks you off your focus, it knocks you off of your course, and it slows down your own progress to your destination. Now, to the question that Robert asked, how do you stop comparing? I'm going to teach you a very simple thing that I do not only in the space of comparing, but I do this whenever someone is putting themselves in opposition to me, or they're making themselves seem like we have a problem. I speak well upon that person. So whenever you see someone that you think is doing better than you, and you feel that sense of comparison coming up, or that sense of jealousy, open your mouth and speak well upon them. Open your mouth and speak well upon them. One of the greatest themes that you all will see in everything that we talk about here on Sundays is the power of your words. That is universal. Yes, the Bible's statement about that is the one that we all know the most, right? Which is life and death is in the power of your tongue. But that's universal knowledge. In many other teachings, they tell you about the power of your words. What you speak puts out a certain energy into the world. And this is why I always tell you, even when people think they're at odds with you, someone that's, I don't have enemies. What I may have are people who see themselves in opposition to me, but you'll never be my enemy. And even in the case where someone sees themselves in opposition to me, anytime I see that person, even when they're doing things to try to upset me or doing things to hinder my progress, what I will always do is speak well upon you. Here's a secret to why you do that. Not only does it release that negative emotion from you, but what you put out into the world in your words is the energy that the world sends back to you. What you put out into the world with your words is the energy that the world or the universe sends back to you. So if you see someone that you feel like you're making those comparisons with, even if they're in a better position than you, wish them more success. Wish them more success. That is how you transition. First of all, here's the first thing that happens when you speak that, positive. It breaks that emotional hold of jealousy that is trying to grab you. Let's simplify it to some really simple things. And I know many of us are not this simple in our jealousy, but I want to use these simple things to give you an example, right? If the neighbor has a better car than you have, and you feel that sense of that little bit of envy, that little bit of jealousy, man, I wish them more success. I'm so happy that they have that. Even if your emotions don't feel that, speak that. Because if you've been here many Sundays, what is more powerful than your words? I'm sorry, what is more powerful than your thoughts? What's more powerful than your thoughts? Who's been here? Who's been here on Sundays? Your words. Come on, Christine. Come on, Blissful. Come on, Robert, Kiki, G Mama, Ebony, Lindsay. Your words, right? And listen, I got this revelation today. Here's why your words are so powerful, right? This is why you also have voices in your mind. And I want you all to pay attention to this. This is critical. There's the spiritual being that you are that is in this vessel. Then there is your mind, your physical mind, that is the operating system of the vessel. The reason why you speak to yourself and it changes your conditioning is because the vessel is oftentimes operating in autopilot. It's operating off of information. It's operating off of things that have been deposited onto the hard drive. The speaking to yourself is you, the spiritual being that you are, expressing with your words what you want the vessel to do. Remember we said that you are the driver of this vessel, right? So when you're driving your car, when you push the gas pedal, that's you communicating to the car what you want it to do. So let's say, for instance, you're driving your car and your car stalls a little bit. What do? You hit the gas, right? That's your way of telling the car, I want you to do something different. Let's say you're driving your car, and I learned this in driving school. This is critical information for whoever needs to know this. Pay attention. This is practical and spiritual knowledge. When your car is fishtailing, you want to turn into the direction that your trunk is going. Pay attention. If your car is fishtailing, this being your trunk, and your trunk is this way, you want to turn the steering wheel into the direction that the car is fishtailing. Not the opposite. General practical knowledge for anybody that's ever in that condition, right? But watch this. If your car is fishtailing, that means the car having lost control, whether it be because of ice, whether it be because of oil or anything else on the road, your car having lost control is now doing something that you don't want it to do. By turning the steering wheel in the direction of where it's fishtailing or in the direction of your trunk, you are now telling the car what to do contrary to what it's doing. That is the thing that you don't want it to do. This is the same concept of your mind. There are times, because of the programming and because this vessel has been designed to run on autopilot if the driver is not in control, there are times when your mind is going to produce thoughts that you don't want, that you don't like, that you don't agree with. The way that you control the car is by using your words. So if I feel envy towards a person, I speak love towards them. If I feel jealousy towards a person, I speak success towards them. If I feel anger towards a person, I speak positivity over them. Because I understand that my emotions are simply giving me information. I also understand that because of what has been deposited on my hard drive and what has been deposited into this vessel, sometimes, watch this, Just like your car, if you hit that pitch of ice or if you hit that pitch of oil, sometimes something may trigger my vessel to act in a way that I don't desire it to. And when my vessel does that, I then have to take the proper action to correct my vessel so that it goes in the direction that I want it to go. That is the power of your words. So that's how you correct jealousy. And I'm going to tell you this. Over time, remember, programming. This vessel that you're in is so wonderfully made, but because we've been conditioned and the vessel has been conditioned to operate a certain way, we now coming to a sense of awareness and a sense of enlightenment and understanding that we are the drivers of these vessels. We are just now learning how to control the vessel. But because the vessel has been in autopilot for so long, it is still going to instinctively do certain things that are contrary to what we desire in our now enlightened state. So what happens is we have to do the reprogramming. How do you do the reprogramming? Through repetition. Because I guarantee you, if it wasn't an extremely traumatic event, everything that you know and how you conduct yourself came to you through repetition of either what you were told, repetition of what you saw, or repetition of a feeling that you felt over a period of time that became your character, your behavior, your thought patterns, and your behavior patterns. So in order to change that, you must also practice repetition. Let me give you another example. There are certain faith-based religions and there's certain sects of religions where you will see that all they do is repeat certain things. That's all they do is repeat it robotically. What they're doing is they're programming the subconscious of these people. Because once your subconscious has been programmed and you have no awareness that you are the driver, indoctrination, and you have no awareness that you are the driver of this vessel, anything that I program your subconscious to do and you're a dormant driver, your body will do and fulfill on command. That is why in certain religious spaces, there are people that are willing to not only unalive themselves, but unalive multiple people believing what they've been indoctrinated to believe. And let me say this, some people are overly critical of those religious beliefs because they think, oh, how could they take other people's lives? That is terrible. But let me help you and let me expose you to a reality. Indoctrination is indoctrination despite how it plays out and what it looks like. See, hatred is hatred despite what it looks like and how it plays out. I am finding it more and more alarming how many people are willing to fight you for the foundation of what they think is your salvation. I could jump up and run off of that one. I am finding it more and more alarming how many people are willing to fight you, are willing to demean you, are willing to tear you down for what they believe is the foundation or what they believe is the substance of your salvation. How so? How is it that you're willing or ready to tear me down, fight me, demean me, to give me what you think is my salvation, and you have the audacity to say that you want what's best for me? No, you don't. That's your indoctrination, and because you've been indoctrinated to believe this thing as an identity, now that you may see me in a different space, you would rather tear me down, demean me, call me out of my name, and then call it salvation. That's not the real thing. But we're not going to go there today, right? So that's how you stop comparisons. That's how you break those habits. Using your words. And the secret to it is speak that which you desire for yourself onto other people. If I don't have any finances right now and I see somebody else that has it, rather than becoming jealous and rather than watch the other thing that jealousy does. Jealousy not only hinders your ability to see your own individual path, but it drains you of motivation. It drains you of inspiration for most of us. So whenever you feel those emotions like jealousy, like envy, and all of those things, speak what you desire for yourself on that person. Wildfire, I love that. Comparison is the thief of joy. I love that. I love that. Christine, you're absolutely right. This is where the shadow work journal actually helps. And this is where shadow work helps in general, because many of us don't know the core of our jealousy. We don't know the core of where these feelings come from. And until you can identify the root, you can't pull up something. You can only keep. So here's what if you've ever had a substance abuse problem, then you know this to be a fact. Treating the symptom does not solve the problem. Treating the symptoms does not solve the problem. I'll go a step further. There's a reason why most medicines only treat the symptom. Because for the most part, the medical field is a business. And if people stop getting sick because you dealt with the root, watch this. If people stop getting sick because you dealt with the root problem, then you no longer have a business to run. There's a reason why most religious teachings will only deal with the symptoms of your problem. Because if they really showed you, or if they really dealt with the root of your problem, then their business won't thrive as much as it does. But your life will. See, the idea here is, and the theme of what I will always share with you all is, you have it. The only reason I can sit here and tell you that you have it inside of you is because I found it inside of me. Not absence of the creator, but I found it inside of me because I understand that that is the intention of the creator. God put it inside of you so that you will never miss it. So that you don't have to go looking for it. If it's inside of you, think of it this way. And I use this analogy all the time. A product that is perfectly made does not have an 800 number for complaints or for assistance in the handbook. It's right there in the product. What you probably will need is instructions, but you're never going to have a customer service number. Now, what's happened to you, a perfectly made product, is not only in your life, but in the life of your grandparents, in the life of your parents, and many, many of generations before any of us got here. There has been a concerted effort to misdirect all of us on what we are, how we were created, and who our creator really is. Because if you don't know what you are and how you were created, then I can control you. If I can convince you that everything that you need is, I use this analogy a lot. It's like playing a game of hide and seek, right? All the kids are in the house, right? You tell the kids, go hide. You put one kid in the corner and you tell the other kids, go hide, right? I love that. They need to keep creating customers. Once all the kids have hidden, you tell the kid that's supposed to find everybody, they're outside. This kid goes outside into the neighborhood and starts looking for the other kids that are hiding inside the house. That kid that's outside is That kid that's outside is likely to get lost his or herself. Why? Because what he or she is looking for is not even outside. That's exactly what's happening to all of us. Everything that we've been told to go look for outside of us has been built into us. Why do I say that? It's not even just in this vessel. Think of it like this. The breath of life, the spirit being that you are, is a piece of the creator that you come from. How then can the creator put what you need outside of you when the creator is inside of you? Do you understand? The only thing I can do on these lives is spark what is inside of you. And the only reason I know to spark what is inside of you, because I've seen the spark inside of me come alive. That's the only thing anybody can do. See, this idea that I have a gift and you have to show up every Sunday for my gift in order for you to be well is a setup. This idea that only some of us have the ear of God and the rest of us have to listen to the person that has the ear of God is a setup. This is how not only do they trick us into a stupor, but those that are, watch this, and I say this all the time and it shakes people of faith foundation. A lot of atheists are closer to the truth of God than most religious people. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of atheists have come to a point in their reality where they say, if what you're saying is the truth, then I don't want it because that truth does not resonate with my spirit. They don't say it like that, but this is what I've worked with more atheists that have heard my message of faith and belief and helped them to find a real foundation in a creator by simply letting them know, I agree with you. It's not on the outside. I agree with you that the stories that we've been told about God do not line up. But here's the truth, though. Those stories and the way that they're told is not God telling you that. That's what somebody else is telling you so that they can condition you, so that they can control you. If the breath of life that brings this vessel, that brings this body to life is a piece of God being breathed into this vessel, then everything that I need to properly control the vessel is inside of me. Watch this. Children, when they are born, they have a better understanding of this vessel than most adults that have lost their way. Because upon being first put into this vessel, the breath of life, the spirit being that they are, have not, the hard drive of the vessel has not been corrupted. So the little spirit beings that they are inside of their little vessels still has more awareness of where they came from. I said this in a post, and I don't know if I even posted this already. I've said this in a post. When children ask you sometimes where babies come from, they're not asking you about biology or anatomy. They're asking to see if you're going to confirm what they remember. My 4-year-old, for 2 reasons. One, having my daughter, I was in a very spiritually heightened place. 2, I feed her spirit now. I've been feeding her spirit from the moment that she was born. My 4-year-old has the ability to speak of things that most adults don't have the understanding of. And listen, this is where she blows my mind. I remember asking her one day, baby, where did you get that from? She said, my brain. Here's why that blew my mind. Your brain can only learn what you've seen, what you've heard, and what you've been told. If no one said this to you, if no one taught you this, if you haven't seen this, where is it coming from? What she's saying is, it's coming from the spirit being that's driving this car is still aware, Daddy, and is very much aware. We are getting to a place where we're just waking back up. That waking up part is the driver of this vessel snapping into reality and going, oh, shoot, I'm supposed to be driving this thing. Watch this. Here's why that's important to you. Many of us are the result of what has happened to this vessel. Your life has been a response to what's happened to the vessel. Your life is not really a outcome of the desires and the intent of what you want. For many of us, our life is the outcome of what has happened to this vessel. And now, through this idea of awakening, through this idea of how we all got introduced to this conversation, through this idea of shadow work, we're now learning that, hold up, wait, I don't have to live as a result of what has happened to me. My vessel does not have to operate in autopilot based on information that has been downloaded into it from the environment that I grew up in, from the people that spoke into my subconscious. My life doesn't have to be the result of that. No matter what has happened to me in this vessel, I can still grab this steering wheel and bring into fruition what I desire for myself. You want to know the secret to all of that? You can't achieve none of that without love. Why? Because love is what truly allows you to not only control this vessel, but it's what allows you to tap into the operating system of the vessel, because the vessel was designed to operate on love. Make sense? Put a 2 in a comment if that makes sense to you. Awesome. Awesome. So here's a great transition point. Now that you know you have the ability to drive and control this vessel, that your life does not have to be the result or the outcome of what other people have done to you. Your life does not have to be the outcome. I like the Roman numeral 2. I like that. That was different and slick, Derek. Your life does not have to be the result of what other people have done to you. Your life does not have to be a result of the trauma that you've endured. Your life does not have to be the result of the things that you've been told you can or cannot do, but that you truly have the ability to grab the steering wheel of your life and wield it in whatever way you choose. Here's my question, and here's the other activity in the journal that I want to talk about today. The activity prompt is dream life. Right? And it says, envision your dream life. What would your daily experience be if you were living your dream life tomorrow? Watch this. When we ask people that, the first thing most of us think about are material things. Whenever someone asks you, or not all of us, right? But the first thing, because of conditioning, the first thing that we think about are material things. But here's the reality. Now that you know that you are a spiritual being inside this vessel, right? When I ask you about your dream life, don't think of it as what is the dream life for the vessel. Put it like this. If you're driving your car and I say to you, hey, right now, we could do whatever you want done. We could cosmetically do anything that you want to have done right now. Would you tell me to do something cosmetically to your car? Or would you tell me to do something cosmetically to you? When I ask you, or when you think of your dream life, and you think only of material things that will only serve your vessel, that's conditioning. Because that is the same conditioning that allows someone to control you. When you think of your dream life, what I want you to think about is what brings peace and fulfillment to the inner me. And I promise you this, watch this. This is where we're going to make the connection for the life that you really want. The inner you, the being that you are inside of this vessel, does not serve itself. The being that you are inside of this vessel does not serve itself. Watch this. Many people think serving God is some type of exterior ritual activity that you do to God as the image that you see God on the outside of you. If you are a piece of the infinity, a piece of God breathed into this vessel, think of it this way. If you are a piece of infinity and a piece of God breathed into this vessel, then how you serve God is not on this outward expression first. It's from an inward alignment with which you came from. The way that you align with God and serving God internally first is establishing a life of love. Now, once you know that it is only through love that you can align with God, and for all you Bible believers and for all you that really know the gospel of Jesus Christ, what did Jesus say? You will know who is aligned with me by what? Not how well they know the Bible, because it didn't exist at the time. Not how well they follow the religious rituals, because he was against the religious rituals of the time. But he simply said this: you will know who is aligned with me by what? How they love their brother and or sister, right? So we know then the alignment with God is first through love. Now, once you know that, the next thing for you to understand is love is selfless and not selfish. So if love is truly my alignment with God, then what brings me inner peace through that alignment is selflessness. Let me give you a gift right now for each and every one of you on this live. If you want to have true fulfillment in your life, this is going to be contrary to everything that the world has told you. If you want to have true fulfillment in your life, live a life of service to the God inside of each and every one of the people that you see each and every day. If I can love you, if I can feed those that need to be fed, if I can help those that need my help, if I can be of service to someone that needs my service, not only am I first aligned with God in that I'm aligned with God in love, but I'm aligned with God in that I see that there's a piece of life of the God inside of you that is not in control of this vessel, and the vessel is suffering. So what I can do in order to serve the piece of God that's inside of you is to be of service to you. If you really want to live a life that is fulfilled and you know that you are the spirit being inside of this vessel, it doesn't matter how much stuff you buy for this vessel, it will never be enough. Because the fulfillment that you're looking for is not going to come from this vessel. It's going to come through the spirit being that you are inside this vessel. And what that spirit being wants to do is connect not only with the being that put it in here or the being that where you come from, but it wants to connect with the spirit being inside of everybody else. And the way that you do that is to be of service. See, many people think the gospel is to make you believe like I believe. That's the religion. Making you believe like I believe while you're still living a life in distress serves you nothing. Making you believe like I believe while you're still living a life in depression serves you nothing. Making you believe like I believe when you're still living a life of lacking fulfillment serves you nothing. Making you believe like I believe while you are still suffering internally serves you nothing. But if I can teach you how to connect with the source that you come from, not through doctrine, but through exemplifying what that source is by loving you, then I am truly fulfilling what Jesus said. You'll know who's with me by how they love their brother. No greater love is known than this, willing to give up this vessel. So watch this. And I'm going to end here because this is the one. No greater love known to man than this, willing for me to give up this vessel so that the spirit being inside of you can come alive. No greater love is known than for me to give up this physical vessel so that the spirit being inside of you can come alive. This is the gospel of the cross. That I am willing to give up this vessel so that the spirit being inside of each and every one of you can come alive. Not so that you can follow the doctrine that I follow, not so that you can believe what I believe and still be dormant and dead on the inside, but so that the spirit being that you are can come alive. Because if I'm willing to do that, then I am sharing with you that which connects us both to our Creator. This is the idea that no one comes through the Father but through the Son. Because if the purpose of the Son was to give up the physical vessel so that the spirit being that is in each and every one of us can come alive, then that is fulfillment. That is life. That is the purpose. That's why no matter what I believe, I'm never going to come on here and push my belief on you. I'm just going to push love on you. The testimony of my relationship with God is through how I love you. Not me being able to convince you to read the books that I read. Not me being able to convince you to do the rituals that I do. The testimony of my connection to God is how I love you. The testimony of my connection to God is how I live my life in love. That is the testimony of my connection to God. Nothing else. Everything else is religious doctrine, because if you can have what you call salvation and still have hatred in your heart, then please help us understand, why is that salvation appealing to anybody else? If you have salvation and you're trying to spread salvation to the world, but you're spreading it at the tip of a spear or at the barrel of a gun or at the tip of your spiteful, hateful words for other people, then why do you think that salvation will be appealing to anybody else? The example that was set for us is that for you to be spiritually alive, for that spiritual being, that spirit being that you are in this vessel, for that being to come alive and to know that that is who you are, I am willing to give up this vessel. I am willing to connect with that part of you. That is the example that was set for us. That is the example that was set for us. Every other part of it is a distraction. Every other part of it is to keep you distracted. Because if you can have every bit of religion and not have love, then what is the value of your religion? What's the value of it? That's why we know that when we talk about doing shadow work and people are threatened by the word shadow without understanding context, that's how we know that many people will always see and present this thing from an exterior perspective. There it is. If I know that all that I need has been built into me by God, the creator, to put me here, and then I know that there are things inside of me that are blocking or hindering me from really tapping into the spiritual being that I am because of the conditioning and the experience that my vessel has gone through, then what I really need is some type of internal surgery. What I really need is to, what does it tell you to do? Search my heart. Search me, find the things that are inside of me that are hindering me from seeing and hearing and understanding. Because it's on the inside that the work happens. Not what you can see. Watch this. You know how we talked about earlier, the act of repeating a thing and repeating a thing and repeating a thing is indoctrination. And that indoctrination does work. Does what? It impacts this vessel. It only impacts the vessel. And here's the thing. The more that the vessel has been impacted and distracted, the more dormant the driver that you are becomes. Because now the vessel, you have been convinced to think that you are the vessel. And everything that has been put into the vessel is now what you operate on. So what happens to a vehicle? What happens to a vessel? You need what? Exterior forces to make you whole. You need exterior forces for you to run. You need this to happen on the outside of you for you to feel this way. You need something outside of you to happen for you to feel joy. You need something on the outside of you to happen before you can feel happiness. You need something on the outside of you to happen before you can feel love. When the truth of the matter is, the spirit being that you are inside of this vessel possesses all of that. You just have to tap into it first with the knowledge that you are that spiritual being that comes from the creator that put that in you, that put you here. I'm going to cover, oh no, let's finish this. So your dream life, that's your assignment for the week. I want you to think, what would your daily experience be if you were living your dream life? And if that daily experience did not serve your vessel? What will your daily experience be if you were living your dream life and if that daily experience in your dream life didn't serve your vessel? I'll give you an example of what that looks like for me. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful that every single day I am one step closer to fulfilling this. For me, that would be every day being able to wake up and pour this into somebody else. If I could pour this into people every single day, love, light, understanding, and truth. If I could pour this into people every day, if I could point people not only to God, but if I could point people to understand that Everything that the Creator is, the Creator put inside of you. Let us make man in our what? I know these are not exact stories of what happened, but these are examples to help us understand how we're here, why we're here, and what we are. The image of God is not on the outside of you. The image of God is on the inside of you. And that's worth running on. That's worth running on. The image of God is not your external presentation. The image of God is on the inside of you. And if you have all of these experiences downloaded into your subconscious mind that is hindering you from seeing that, then you will always constantly be searching for something on the outside of you that has been built on the inside of you. So that's our assignment. What will your daily experience be if you were living your dream life and that dream life did not serve your vessel? And I'll give you this. When you're able to figure, watch this. Oh, this is good. If I asked you, what would your dream life be? And it was all about you and all about what made you rich, better, with all of those things. It would, for some of us, that could seem and feel impossible to accomplish. But if I asked you what your dream life is in service to other people, I bet you that is achievable. Today, right now, if I asked you what your dream life would be in service to other people, I bet you it's achievable right now. And this is where our conditioning starts to separate, where we've been conditioned to see life as a means of me. And the me is the vessel. It's all about your emotions, the vessel. It's all about your thoughts, the vessel. It's all about everything. It's all about the vessel. And not about the actual being that you are on the inside of the vessel. The image of God that you are on the inside of the vessel. Because the image of God that you are on the inside of the vessel, the things that connects that part of you to this world don't require earthly. The things that connect that part of you to the world does not require earthly possessions. When you hear people say, man, it's hard for me to love on other people, I just go, how? How? Love doesn't cost you. It doesn't cost you anything to go up to somebody and say, listen, I don't have any money right now, but I love you. It doesn't cost you to have a kind word for someone that you know that's in need of it. It doesn't cost you to have a kind word for someone that may not have kind words for you. It doesn't cost us anything to live in love. That is what you are not supposed to know. If truly operating in love is how you make your connection to the Creator and it's free, what's stopping you? If living a life of love is what connects you to God and it is free, what's stopping you? What's hindering you? And watch this about love. There are consumers of love, right? People that only see love from the perspective of, I want somebody to love me. I want somebody to love on me. I want somebody to come and be there for me. These are consumers of love. I don't have any issue with that. If that's how and who you are, great. But let me tell you something. There's a better position to be when it comes to love than a consumer. That's the distributors of love. Because I'm going to tell you why. In order to be a distributor of love, you got to have a direct plug to the manufacturer. And if in fact God is love, then God is the manufacturer. And if you're a distributor of love, and if you become a very effective and efficient and direct distributor of it, then the source of it says, I'm going to keep you supplied with it because I love the way that you distribute it. I'm a distributor of love. That's how I live my life. It does not mean that everything in my life is honky-dory and peachy. But when things aren't going right, you know what I do? I use one of my most powerful creative faculties. I start speaking as though they are what I want them to be. And when things are not going right, I don't deem them as finalized. When things aren't going right in my life, I just look at whatever it is and I say to it what I want it to be. And then I continue to show and live my life in love. Because let me tell you this, here's another secret. You want to know what the favor of God is? They may teach you that the favor of God is knowing all of your Bible. They may teach you that the favor of God is knowing all of the religious traditions and all of the rituals. That's not the favor of God. You want to know what the favor of God is? The favor of God is being in alignment. The way that you're in alignment is living your life in love. As long as you're living your life in love, every place that you go, everything that you touch, you are connected to the universal energy that makes this thing go around. And everything will always work out in your favor. Even if in the moment that you are looking at it, it does not look like it's in your favor, do not deem it complete or finished. Simply say to that situation, it's still going to work out in my favor. And then start moving, acting, speaking, and going about your life like you know it's going to work out in your favor and still staying in alignment with love. That's the favor of God. Being in alignment with love. God is love, right? Think of it this way. If you're a parent, right, endless amount of money, and you got a bunch of children, you sitting around deciding, man, I'm just going to bless this kid. I'm going to bless this kid. I'm going to bless that kid. I'm going to bless that kid. That doesn't make you a very efficient, effective, loving, caring, fair parent. But if you simply said to all of your kids, listen, I'm not going to pick and choose amongst y'all. See, that's the other trick of religion. We've been told that God has a chosen people. That's a whole nother conversation. We can approach that at another time, right? But what you would tell your children is, hey, listen, I'm not going to pick and choose amongst y'all. What I'm going to do is say this. These are the principles by which I want to establish my household and my lineage. Any one of my kids that align with these principles, you have access to everything that is mine. That's the favor of God. That's the favor of God. If you want access to all that is the endless supply, that is what the Creator has, align yourself with the foundations and the principles. What did we agree upon that Christ said? You will know who is with me by how they love. Period. Do that homework this week. Think of what your dream life would be if it wasn't in service to just you. What would your dream life be if it wasn't all about you? What would a fulfilled life look like if it wasn't about feeding your flesh or your vessel? What would a life of completeness look like if it wasn't about you obtaining things? Rhonda, I like that. I like that. And trust me, if you've ever done this, here's a small example that I want you to start trying this week. And I promise you, by next Sunday, many of you are going to have a testimony. Every day, find someone that you can express love to. Watch this. Here's the caveat. Here's the secret. When I love on you, I don't love on you with an expectation. When I love on you, I don't love on you with an expectation. Watch though. I don't even expect you to necessarily be receptive. I don't love on you with an expectation. So all this week, every day, find someone that may not be able to reciprocate or that may not even be in line of receiving your love, and just love on them without any expectation. Don't expect them to receive it. Don't expect them to respond kindly. Don't expect nothing. Just go and give it. And watch this. Your assessment is not what happens to them. Your assessment is what happens to you. Your assessment of this assignment is what happens to you, not what happens to them. And I guarantee you, if you are consistent and genuine with this, you'll see a change in you. You will see a change in you. And that is the alignment. That is that straightening. That is that shaping and that molding that we're told happens to a person. It doesn't happen through believe this, believe this, believe this. That's not how it happens. It happens through the act of love and the actual living in it. That is what is going to change and transform you and transform your thinking. See, and I'll end it here. Oftentimes people in this reference, people hear it, but then they practice it differently. The reference is walk in the spirit and you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. However, we practice stop doing this, stop doing this, stop doing that, stop sinning, stop smoking, stop drinking, stop having sex, stop cursing, stop doing all of these things, and then you'll have the oasis of heaven. That's not even how it is said to you. I'll tell you this. Start living in love. Make love the foundational condition of your life, and I guarantee you the things that don't serve you will start to fall out of your life and fall out of your desire. Start living in love. That is walking in the spirit. Start living in love. And watch this. Watch the simple connection. If love is what connects you to the Creator, and you know that you are the spirit being inside of this vessel, then if you're living in love, then you are walking in the spirit being that you are. All right, so we got an assignment for the week. Let's do some housekeeping and then we'll get out of here. So again, so many people have asked for it. So many people have been asking, when am I going to make this available? It is available now. I am doing shadow work mentorship one-on-one. If you're interested, you can email me directly at girldadsos@gmail.com or simply go to the website, girldadllc.com. It is on my bio here on TikTok. If you're interested in coaching, same thing. You can go to the website and book a 15-minute introduction session through Zoom where we would talk, get to know each other. We'll kind of review your goals. You get to see and interact with me and see if it's a good fit for you. And then after that, you can book a full one-on-one session, or you can actually book a subscription where we can do weekly sessions for a month. And then you can kind of renew those as you would like to. Secondly, October 11th is the start date for the I Am Healing with Coach K podcast. The guest that I have on, I don't want to give you guys any onto this, but this individual blows my mind every single day. And the interview that I'm going to have with this gentleman is going to be so powerful that you don't want to miss it. Go to the YouTube page, youtube.com/@girl_dad. Subscribe to the YouTube page. That's where we're going to be launching the podcast. What else do we have? Oh, middle of this week, I'm going to say Wednesday of this week, we are going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to go live, and all I'm going to do is the giveaways. I've got about 30 or 40 shirts that I want to send out to you all. And then we're also going to gift 3 copies of the journal to 3 people who are unable to get it right now. So we're going to be giving out a bunch of shirts this week, and then bring us your... and then we are going to be giving away some copies of the journal. So that's going to be Wednesday. I don't know exactly what time on Wednesday, but just kind of stay tuned. By Tuesday, I'll know. So I'll put up a quick post on the page and let you guys know what time on Wednesday. And again, it's all about just getting together, loving on each other, being a support system to each other, and really pushing each other in the right direction to become the best version of ourselves that we can be. At the end of the day, listen, we are one whole. And just like the cells in your body, right? There's no cell in your body that sees itself as one individual. And when cells in your body do that, or when a collective or a group of cells in your body start to function as if they are autonomous from the body, you know what that's called? A disease. And that's really what we're experiencing as the human body. Is that there are pieces of us and cells of us and collections of us and groups of us that are functioning as if we're not connected to the whole. All we're doing here is bringing back that connection, bringing back that reality of what and who we really are. All right. With that said, I love you all. I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to leave you with 3 things. 1, love yourself like no one else can. 2, love yourself as you believe the people that failed you were supposed to love you. And then 3, do not be a consumer of love. Be a distributor, because as a distributor of love, you have a direct plug to the manufacturer, and that is our creator, God. Again, I love you all. Stay full of love by being a distributor of it. Tap in with me if you need to. You can direct message me here, or you can go to the website, or you can send me an email. I will see you all on Wednesday. Be good to yourself and be good to others.